Hey, good evening, good morning, good night, whatever you listening to. This is uh, this is Jared Waters, the host of the podcast One Man, One Tree in a Hill, the podcast where we explore life. Explore life. I have a wonderful guest, ladies and gentlemen. This man's a stand-up comic. I would say a director. What else? I could say a podcaster. I would say one of the youngest comedians ever to drop a special on Dry Bar. Could I say that? Yes.
That's facts. That's if it comes out. If
It'll come out.
Hey, we'll see if they release it.
It'll come out.
Then it's true.
My friend used to be the youngest one, and I was so happy to find another youngest one to be like,
To rub it in his face. I almost started laughing earlier. I didn't know that was the name of your podcast. Was it? Is it
One Man, One Tree in a Hill? It's actually a play on One Tree Hill.
Man, that's great.
So I've never seen the show, and I was like, so when I don't think of anything else, we review One Tree Hill episodes.
Yeah, man.
So people are like, what's up? And I was like, yeah, man, it's One Tree Hill, man. It's one of the other episodes. I reviewed the first pilot episode. So I get it. It's a good show. I get it.
What's up. Never seen it, but that is hilarious, man.
People love that show.
Yeah,
so I was
man.
like, if people don't listen to this podcast, I know I'll put it on the One Tree Hill fan page, and they'll pick it up.
For sure.
I was like, you guys want to be on?
Yeah, man.
This is Caleb Elliott, ladies
What's
and
up,
gentlemen.
you guys? What's up? Excited to be here. First time in New York, you know what I'm saying?
First time in New York City.
And it's been disgusting. I want to go home. It's been terrible.
Have you had a New York City moment yet?
People keep telling me that defining that differently. So like somebody was like, you got to see The Naked Cowboy.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, what are you talking about? What is that? You got to see a man pee on the road. You ain't lived in New York until you seen a man pee on the road.
I seen you struggle on the
Oh yeah,
trying to get your Metro card through the thing.
Does that count as a New York moment?
That counts because the guy behind us was like, Jesus Christ, come on, man. You didn't see the guy behind us? This man, if he gonna jump the rail, let him jump the rail.
Exactly. Was pissed.
He's swiping beep, beep.
Yeah, it wasn't working for me. But no, it's been cool, man. Traveling and stuff, and Brooklyn was cool, it was straight, and y'all left me on the train. But that's all right, you know what I'm saying? You got to make your way around.
What did Shotty say? Shotty's like, you going to be all right? I was like, it's his first time. You just going to give him these directions? And what Reggie said, hey, man, just take an Uber, bro.
Yeah.
Don't even
Reggie
let him
was
get
so
lost.
concerned. He was like, are y'all sure? And they was like, yeah, he's straight. And he's like, are y'all sure, though?
Straight from St. Louis. Hey, look her. He need to catch an Uber, man. He lost. His eyes all.
Hey, that man was mad funny too.
Reggie, yeah. We're gonna get to this moment because if you don't know, he's here. He's featuring for the Marvelous Sinbad and Caroline's.
Yeah.
But he's more than that. He's more than just a feature act. We're gonna talk about his life.
Yeah, man.
Let's go back to where it all started. Where are you from? Where do you call home? What city or state do you call home?
Come on, I'm from North Carolina, Pinehurst, North Carolina, small city. Known for golf. Born and raised. Started doing stand-up when I was about 11 years old.
Let's go before 11. What
Not before. We going
before
deep.
11? How 2-parent household, 1-parent household? How did you grow up?
2-parent actually. So my parents were very spiritual, and they actually split up at one point when I was probably middle school, and then we lost our house 2007, 2008. And so we was we was pretty broke for a long time. Like, me and my siblings, we were all living in one room, and my mom was living in the other room. But they ended up getting back together. So that was one thing they taught me was, like, even though you fight or even though you argue, you know what I'm saying, if you have a spiritual relationship, like, you always, make it work. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that was cool. So did that growing up in my city. It was very white. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of white people. So
do people mistake you for being white? Do they think you're mixed? Do people think you're... If you don't know, we won't post a picture. He's very high yellow.
Thank you.
Yellow, light skin is what we
that's
call
a compliment. Thank you.
Some people think with this generation, everybody's mixed, so people don't know if you're...
Yeah, they'll think I got white in me. And if I
racially
go down my
ambiguous.
family tree, I do. But right now, my father, he's black. He's your tone. And my mother, she's actually like Lumbee Indian. She's Native American.
So like growing up, when you say 2-parent household, and when you say spiritual, you're talking about Christianity, correct?
Oh, yes. Yes.
There's different. So how many brothers and sisters did you have?
Oh, we have. I have an older sister.
Okay.
And I have a younger sister and a younger brother, and we're all 2 years apart.
Oh, 4 of y'all.
Yeah.
That's a load.
Yeah. It was straight. It was straight.
In that
growing up,
station
but-
wagon.
Yeah. Yeah, I had to sit in the back. Like everybody with a lot of siblings know that you got that last tier, like that back seat that you don't want to sit in when you go on vacation. That's where I had to sit because I was the brother.
So you're the third?
Yeah, I'm the third.
You're
I'm
the third.
Well, my older sister is technically my half sister, so I'm like the first technically, but I'm really the third.
It's all blood. Yeah.
Yeah, it's all blood.
So what was the dynamic of like the family being like the third?
Oh man, it was cool. It was cool.
It's all girls, right? And you're the only dude?
No, I had a younger
your
brother.
Oh, your brother.
Yeah,
Damn,
and I wish
sorry.
we were closer in age. Like we could have gotten in trouble together,
Right.
but we're 4 years apart, and so it was a lot of like me handing stories down. You know what I'm saying? Like we didn't do much together, but it was a lot like, man, we was fighting the other day, man. Blah blah blah. He'd be like, what? You know what I'm saying, and stuff like that.
Y'all was fighting?
Yeah, yeah. So I wish like we're a lot closer now, being older, just 'cause you know what I'm saying we can talk about more adult things. The family's like super important to me. It wasn't as much like growing up, but like now I try to be intentional, like hanging out with like my siblings and
Right.
whenever they're in town and stuff, and going to see them. You know what I'm saying?
Did you since you guys were you guys at church a lot? Was it like
Oh yeah, man. So we was
Church
like those
every-
it was about every Sunday type. You know what I'm
Bible
saying?
study and the
Yeah, Bible study on Wednesdays, choir rehearsal. You know how it goes, man, when you come up in church. But
Right.
what happened was, when 2008 hit, like some financial stuff went down, and my father actually he stopped going to the church that we were going to, because he ended up losing his job too. It's a huge story, but he lost his job, and he ended up like just tithing to TD Jakes Church online. So he would watch that.
the Potter's house.
Yeah, the Potter's house. That's like he watches that every Sunday religiously. You know what I'm saying? And he tithes there. And so my mom still goes to our home church. And then I ended up working at our home church. It's a big like non-denominational church in our hometown.
When did you start working?
like,
Like 10?
I got
or
not 10.
you went straight. I was like, man, this is love
know,
for
I'm jumping.
3-year-olds.
That was much later. We'll get there. We'll talk about jobs and stuff later.
So
But
what was
yeah.
it like knowing? So did you know what your parents were financially as like a child? Did you feel that? Like, Did you feel that
Nah.
in school? Or you never knew what was happening.
Yeah, see, that's the fun part of feel like about being broke growing up, 'cause like you don't really know. You just think that that's just how it is.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So when we was all living in one room at one point, and that's just how it was. Like it didn't really change. Like it sounds bad when you say it, but when we was in it, it was like it was straight. I mean,
Sound like an episode of Good Times.
exactly.
Everybody had-
I was sleeping on the floor, had like a mattress on the floor, and then my siblings were in bunk beds, and my sister had a bed in the corner. And it sounds like, oh man, sometimes the water was off, you know what I'm saying? But that's just what it was. Like,
Right.
you know, we had each other, and we was a lot. The home, my father's always intentional about making sure our home was like a happy place and a place where we could joke around and have fun and, you know, be vulnerable, be open, talk about our lives. And so he kept it like that even when we didn't have a lot of money. So it didn't really, it's not as bad as it could be like a big sob story, but it's really not that bad. I was like, yeah, so we was broke. And you really don't know either. You don't know, like, I didn't know I had 3 pairs of jeans. You know what I'm saying? I was just wearing, in middle school, I was just wearing clothes.
Right, black, blue, and khaki.
Yeah, that's all I needed. And then I rotate them. It wasn't until, like, I think we was coming out of poverty. Like, we just rented a house, and I went to school freshman year, and this dude was like, that's why you wear the same jeans. And I was like, crap, I gotta get more jeans. I gotta get a job.
Why you
That's
checking
all
me?
it took, yeah.
He was waiting for that moment too. He was probably
Exactly.
writing notes on. Oh,
Yeah.
man, I know that. Got them Levi's again, huh?
I still remember that kid name. Ain't that a shame, low-key? You be like, man, he really clowned me. I was upset.
Was it a small town? Like everybody knew each other, and
Absolutely, man. It
still
was
to this day, everybody.
Still to this day, man. You can be, like, I got a lot of clout there just 'cause I've been in that same town so much. So, like, it's so small. Like, I'm a coupon. If you go to, like, Chick-fil-A and be like, I know Caleb, they be like, what? Let me give you 10% on it. You know what I'm saying? That's
Throw
how
the extra
close it
sauce
is.
in there.
Exactly. Let me give you this extra nugget in this 12 count. So, yeah, it's really small. Everybody knows everybody. There's, like, one big high school. Yeah.
What were you like in what were you like in middle school? Like in middle school, did you have a lot of friends or?
That was my peak. After
That was my peak. In
middle school was
middle school.
the biggest experience of my life, and later I used to like lead middle school ministry because of like how my middle school went. But I started going to like more of a black school. Like we had a predominantly like white area and then like a blacker area. And so those two elementary schools came together for middle school. So it was like a lot of black kids. And it was just cool. It was a cool experience. Like everybody knew everybody. And I was one of those people where I was almost too black for white kids, too white for black kids. You know what I'm saying? Being light skinned. And so I was really cool with everybody, like, because I could, fit whatever personality you needed me to be. You know what I'm saying? Be all things to all men. Right. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So it was a great time, man. I ended up being like 8th grade president. You know what I'm saying? Over the school, and and when I won, the whole like school came out of class, and it was like, Caleb, yeah. So and then I started doing stand up too, in the 6th grade. So that gave me a lot of clout too.
So before you did stand up,
yeah,
what prompted you to be a youth minister? Was it like your family saying like, all right? Like, do you remember when you first got saved? Because some people, like, when you grow up in a Christian household, it's just like, it's just adopted. You just like, yeah, like, when did you, like, know in your heart, like, hey, man, I'm a Christian.
Yeah.
I believe Jesus died for my sins. When did that epiphany happen?
I love that. The memory that I have was when I was, like, 7. Because there's a lot of theology stuff and blah, blah, blah. But for me, it was when I was 7. There was a storm going on outside. And I was in the house, and I was like, Jesus, I just know I need you. I know I'm scared, and I know I need you. And I don't know if that was it necessarily, but I know from that moment, I know the Lord kept me. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of situations I could have been in that I know I wasn't because of his grace. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of trouble I could have got in that I know it's just the timing just was off because of the Lord. And then it didn't get serious for me. Like, I didn't realize that it was about relationship until my junior year of high school. And actually, like, I became really religious. Like, I became really, like, there was kids who was partying and all sorts of stuff. And I was like, man, I don't do that mess. Like, I ain't going out there. Y'all wrong. And, you know what I'm saying? Let alone, you know what I'm saying? I was, just sinning and lonely in my own way. Like, wasn't fully taking advantage of Jesus and what Jesus has to offer. Right. And so I stopped going to church, too. But I was still, like, hating on kids. And then they had this thing called...
Stop going to church.
Yeah, I really did.
Me and my dad. Yeah. Small going to TD Jakes, Pops.
That's right. And then sophomore year, I heard about this thing called Young Life. I don't know if y'all got that.
Yeah.
Y'all got that here in New York?
Not at. Yeah, well, I'm from the South.
I know. So, yeah, that's right.
So like,
you probably heard of it in Florida.
Yeah. Well, my pops was like military, so we're all over the world. There's this thing called IBA where they would get like high schoolers and they would have turn it into like a Bible college. Yeah. And all the kids from around would do stuff like that.
That's what's up.
But I heard of that. One of my friends does that. Like the ministry thing. That's
what's up. So I started that my sophomore summer. I went to a camp 2013 called Sharp Top Cove. And this dude was describing Jesus and relationship with Jesus and what that really means. And, separating. He was saying everything that I needed to hear. You know what I'm saying? And at that moment, I was like, whatever that is, I want that. You know what I'm saying? I realized that I had religion and I had a lot of rules. But I was missing relationship and just being in his presence and all that fun stuff. And so since then, I was like, man, I gotta do it. Ain't looked back since. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I might have thought about it, but I ain't going back.
I won't turn back. I won't turn back.
So ministry came a lot. So after that, I started like.
Are you ordained? Ministry. Were you ordained?
I was not actually. So.
You drive without a license, weren't you?
I was. I was for sure. So I was got hired. I started doing ministry in 2013. I started leading with a middle school ministry called Wildlife. It's like Young Life's middle school one. And then later started working at like volunteering heavily at a church, my home church, as one of the like host game persons. Okay. You know what I'm saying? So I was like doing the games every week. And then eventually I felt like the Lord I wanted to stay with Young Life and do more Young Life stuff. So I led with them for like 3 years, but I felt like the Lord was telling me to pay more attention to the church. And I was like, I don't really want to do that, God, because I like love Young Life, you know what I'm saying? Right. This is where my heart is. And the youth pastor that I had worked with for a long time, he was leaving. I'm like, man, when he leaves, man, I'm gone. But I was just like, I just couldn't shake that feeling. So I just trusted the Lord, and I was like, hey, I gotta lead Young Life, and ended up keep saying with the church. And then I got offered a job about 2017. I started working on the church as a what's called a resource coordinator for children's ministry. So I did like graphic design and videography, and didn't know how to do either one of those things when I got hired. So it was it was one of those type like, thank you, Lord.
Right.
And then
He's here to serve. That's what he's here to do.
exactly.
He'll guide you.
And then I worked and got transferred over to high school ministry. So I was like the high school director at one point, which is super cool. And that was a crazy experience, just working with students and building the ministry, and loved every minute of it, man. Loved every minute of it.
When do you think, or how old were you when you know the discernment of God's voice? Where you heard it for yourself? Because some people, that's the hardest thing, where people are like, I don't know what he sounds like. It's like, it sounds like you. It's like, nah, that can't be him in my head saying this.
Yeah, you know what I found out is once you start, when you really have the conviction of the Holy Spirit, I just sounded so churchy, and I hate that. But it's actually a lot, there's a lot of times it's more God than you think it is.
Right.
As long as you understand that God doesn't speak outside of the context of his word, you know what I'm saying? So like if it's like, man, I feel like I'm supposed to leave my husband, you gotta be like, I don't know. Because then, Bible says these are the standards for divorce. You know what I'm saying? So like, it's a lot more of Jesus than you think it is. But I think I've had that voice longer than I thought I did.
Mm-hmm.
But once I really started a relationship and reading the word every day and being intentional about listening, that's when I realized, like, oh, okay, I can hear the Lord. You know what I'm saying? And I think it's one of those things where you have to really submit and say, God, I want you to speak because I want to do what you're calling me to do. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people want God to speak, but they don't want to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're like, oh man, is that God? That can't be God because I really wanted this. But it's a lot of like, sacrificing. Because 9 times out of 10, at least with my relationship, it's like stuff where I'm like, are you serious, Lord? You know what I'm saying?
Right,
you have got to be kidding me. But it always works out. And I think that's where faith comes into play, is like you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know the situation, but you really just trust this thought or this feeling that you had in your head in your alone time. And then, God will, if it's not God, he'll honor it too. You know what I'm saying? But it always worked out for me. So I just.
Well, how was that when you were the minister and then you said, I'm starting stand-up? How did that transition go?
So cool. So I was always doing stand-up.
Stand-up like just being funny at church or just always?
Nah, man. So I started when I was 11.
Okay.
Yeah, so I was.
That was what, 2018? I'm just kidding.
You trying to play me? No, I was maybe 2008,
Yeah,
2009,
yeah.
2008, and it's like the same year everything started happening, and then that was just so much favor. But I knew that was something that the Lord had called me to do. I just didn't know how I was gonna get there.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So I think in ministry, there was a lot of stuff that the Lord had to teach me in my character, in what kind of person I was going to be before I started doing more, started being on my own in the world. You know what I'm saying?
So what was that like, that first set like?
Oh,
man. Because you're a
man.
12-year-old and you're doing stand-up to like other teenagers, or are you going straight with adults now?
No, so I was at a debate camp when I was in like the 5th grade before I went to middle school. And, I think that story. Yeah, it was at a debate camp. They had a form of speech called humorous interpretation, right? And humorous interpretation is where you give a speech, but it has to be funny. So I was doing like Barney, Dora, Max, and Ruby. I was acting like I was a reporter, and I was reporting on these characters. So I was like, Barney, he just got drunk at a Chris Brown concert. He had to go to jail. Dora was deranged. She didn't know her last name. She was talking to monkeys. She thought she was talking to monkeys. Max and Ruby didn't have any parents, kind of thing. And so then when I got in middle school, I saw Ricky Smiley, right? He did stand-up. I saw this on TBN, right? Which is like a Christian. He did stand-up at a church. You know that exact tape probably, if you really know Ricky.
He kept falling out and playing the piano.
Exactly, man. And I was like, I want to do that for the talent show, because there was a talent show coming up. So I just turned that Barney, Dora, Max, and Ruby thing into stand-up sketch. And so I when I auditioned for the talent show, they were actually like, can you do 2? So I ended up doing like one stand-up set, and then I had to write another one because they wanted me to come back out, which is weird, but I did. I don't know. I
They
just
wanted an
realized
encore.
that now. Yeah, they wanted an encore basically. So yeah. Since then, after that, I was like, this is cool, man. I'm gonna do this. So stand up was one of those things where I just fell into it.
But there's
You know what I'm saying?
but there's a specific. I would say that with stand up, there they call it Christian comedy, right?
Yeah.
Where sometimes comics, because I've seen your act on stage, and I feel like you're a stand up comic and you happen to be a Christian. You know what I mean?
Exactly,
You're
man.
stand up We're both stand up
That's
comics,
so
and we both
good.
are Christians because sometimes they get caught up into, like, I've been places where this comic, he's a Christian comic, and we're hanging out in Florida. I think it was in North Carolina. He came out in Florida, and he's like killing at the church. And I was like, all right, come downtown with me. He goes, all right. He goes, I don't know why I'm bombing, man. I was like, because these people don't go to church.
Yeah.
Like, how you going to reach everyone?
Exactly.
Like, Jesus was out here talking to all the common people. You know, he was with the
Exactly,
Gentiles
man.
and stuff. So I think sometimes it's that hard transition where you find an audience and get not lost into, like, I'm only doing shouting references. I'm only doing this. I'm only doing that. I said, well, good luck. Some of these people don't go to church at all.
Exactly.
Good luck getting my dad at TD Jakes Online Ministries, seeing if he get these references.
No, for sure.
Because I think Ricky Smiley, you know, being out here, you know, a lot of comics, if you're not from the South, you don't understand, like, the greatness of Ricky Smiley.
Exactly, man.
Ricky Smiley is a beast for me. I'm not going to put him as top 5, but that
he ain't top
open
5.
casket sharp,
Yes, man.
open casket sharp special, that is one of the funniest specials. And I know it's a regional thing. I was like, if you don't know nothing about, like, Southern people,
Exactly.
come here, baby, come here. Bring the baby back. Come here. Charlie, she on the field.
Talk about HBCUs and all
Big
that
Pookie.
fun stuff. Yeah, see?
He don't
And
got
that's
the
just
he don't got the pants. He got the sweat. He got the sweatpants.
He ain't got the uniform on. You got the, yeah.
As
But
you
no,
get
yeah.
older, you can see it though. Like, I was like, oh, I know he planted this. Like, when the girl got up and started shaking and started walking,
Yeah,
I was
see?
like, no, this is definitely an
Oh,
actress.
yeah.
It's like he could hear orange juice coming out of it. I was like, yeah, this is
Yeah,
definitely
man.
planted. But growing up, I was like, man, I remember I was in college and all the football players were all talking about the open casket and like, man, you what you do? And I was like,
Yeah.
I know that's a Southern thing, but I was like, Ricky Smiley, he's just funny.
Yeah,
You know
man.
what I mean? He's just funny because
Yeah.
he'd be crazy. Him and Roy Wood Jr. are from the same town.
Oh, that's what's up. See, I didn't know that.
They're from the same town, Alabama.
Yeah. that's
Totally
what's
two
up.
different types of humor and stuff
Yeah.
like that. But Ricky just, like, resonates to that group of people. Like, you just grow up with Ricky Smiley.
Exactly, man.
Yeah, man, that was.
Yeah.
So you're doing stand up, right?
Mhm.
You're doing stand up in your hometown, or were you
Yeah,
traveling
man.
to different cities? When did you start traveling? Because you can't drive or anything. Or
Exactly. So I was doing, like, family reunions. I was doing the talent shows. I was doing nursing homes.
I've done a couple of those.
Yeah, for like 3 years, and I was watching and studying people. And I remember watching, like, the Kings of Comedy because this is old YouTube. This is when they had a lot more, like, you could watch full movies on there. You know what I'm
Sure did.
saying? Part 1, Part 2, Part 3. And so I was watching the Kings of Comedy at like 11, and Kevin Hart's I'm a Grown Little Man had first came out, and they had a whole bunch of Def Jam tapes.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, this is cool, man. So my dad just happened to go to Comedy Club. Just happened to go see Arnez J, right? And then they had an open mic night. He found out about it. Because we ain't know nothing about stand-up, about this
Correct.
world, you know. And he was like, man, how can I bring my son? He's about 14. I was about 14 at the time. He goes, yeah, man, you can bring him out. So we came out. Back then, you used to have to audition for the open mics at the Comedy Club in Raleigh. Sorry, y'all hear that?
What club is? No, they can't hear.
Okay, word. It's
They can't. It's New York City. Someone just died out here.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Somebody
People
just
prayed up.
fell on the train. It's Good Nights Comedy Club in Raleigh, North Carolina. Was
Oh,
the club.
Charlie
It was my
Goodnights.
home club. So I went there, 14 open mic night, and used to have to audition. For some reason, I was like, you can just get up. And the general manager at the time, his name was John Kirby. And this man, shout out to him. I promise he taught me everything I know about stand-up. Like, some people really, shape you and groom you, and he was one of those people. And so I went up my first night. They was like, man, we're going to give you 3 minutes, man. And time is, I remember him telling me this, time is one of the most important things in stand-up. You want to make sure you don't ever go over. People not book you on shows. When you see this light, I was learning about the light. When you see this light, you know what I'm saying? So I was like, all right, cool.
This light.
Yeah. So I went up there. I did 7 minutes. And
Blew the light.
yeah. And so I used to, like, mimic people I was watching at the time. And I remember I was watching Paul Mooney, so I got my tape of my first time. I was sitting down, I was doing crowd work, I was talking about white people, and I was talking to this, like, girl in the front, And it was cool. And I killed it for like 7 minutes, man. And so they was like, hey, don't do that again. But, man, that was awesome.
Don't do that.
Yeah. And so the owner heard about me. And so, like, 3 weeks later, I kept going back. And the owner came up, and he was like, hey, man, you want to do Bill Bellamy this weekend?
Dang.
And I was like, who? I ain't know. I didn't know who that was.
What call did he do?
Yeah, I was like,
what
but I was
joke?
like, yeah, cool, man. You know what I'm saying? So I, got to meet Bill Bellamy, and that was the first time I seen a headliner.
Was it a guest spot or a host?
A guest spot.
Okay.
Yeah, that was the first time I saw a headliner play. So on this, they was doing a Ladies Night Out tour. Was the tour? What the tour was called? And Ali Sadiq was on the tour with Bill, right? And then they had this other dude named Jay Reed. And I was like, this is the craziest thing I've ever experienced, man. They had music in their set. Like, the crowd was just rocking ridiculously. I was hanging out in the green room with them, and Bill was giving me all this advice. And Bill was, like, ordering drinks for, like, females. And Ali Sadiq, I remember he ordered a salad, and the dude brought out this big salad. He was like, nah, man, never mind, I'm good. And I was like, what the hell? You just set the salad back? And, man, it was just so cool, man. It was just so cool and kind. And
Yeah, I'm cool.
yeah, I was like, and then went to school the next day, you know what I'm saying? Was chilling. But, yeah, that was a cool experience. So since then, I had to, in my earlier years, because I had really a lot of favor with Good Nights, I got to work with so many different people really early. So, like, when I was turned 15, I got to work with Donnell Rawlings.
Dang.
Or with Cheryl Underwood, which is a cool experience because really nobody gets to open for her. She brings her own feature, you know what I'm saying? Who else? I did Ralphie May, which was cool. He was like, man, I'm going to take you on the road. And he gave me all his albums signed, you know what I'm saying? And then I worked with John Reap. Who else? A lot of other people I can't remember. Sinbad, of course. We met when I was like 15 or so.
That was dope for your dad.
Yeah,
to
man.
have that relationship with your dad, for him to be like, no, my son does this.
Yeah, and my father was very much like, whatever y'all want to do, we're doing that. You know what I'm saying? Because life to him was about, because he had you got to go to college and you got to get a good job. You got to make this money. You got to buy a big house. And he was like, that's not what life's about. You know what I'm saying? Once you get that relationship with the Lord, wherever he takes you, you know what I'm saying, that's where you want to go. And he knew that out of my 4 siblings, all of our paths were different. And so he very much treated all of us like individuals and said, whatever y'all are called to do, that's what we'll go with. And so, man, he was like, do you want to do this? And I was like, I'm chilling. And so we would go up every week, and that was like how we, hung out and bonded. And he would make me run my set. He was like, man, you got to practice, man. You're going to be good. You know what I'm saying?
Yo, that's such a dope bond. And
yeah,
especially when he looks back on it, you know what I mean? He's probably thinking like, man, I was there. Excuse me, allergies. But I was like, seeing like I was there, you know what I mean? Especially at the beginning stages, be like seeing you watch from like, you said 12 to like 22 now. So he's seen a decade of you.
Yeah, man.
A decade of the jokes and everything else.
Yeah.
And a lot of comics don't have that support.
Yeah.
Of like knowing that their parents, like my pops, he supports, but now you can tell as I get older, when he talks to his friends, yeah, my son's in New York City. Yeah, he's up there. Yeah, stand-up comic. Yeah, he's up there.
Exactly.
But for your pops to know, like, no, let's do this.
Yeah.
What does your sister do? What are your other?
So my sister,
do?
she's in school right now. My older sister, she wants to open her own like beauty salon kind of thing.
Dope.
And so she does. She was always intentional about having a place where like both races could come. Okay. So like, you can do white girl hair and black girl hair. So I'm excited to see how it goes. But she got her cosmetology degree, and right now she's working on her business degree. So she wants to do that. My younger sister, she's at UNC Charlotte. And
UNCC?
Yeah, that's right. You from NC.
I know what it is.
And so she's studying communications, and she says she probably wants to do journalism, but she's like heavily involved with the church too. I'm sorry, that's so unprofessional.
It's all good.
She's heavily involved with the church too. And so she's probably going to do something with them. And then my little brother, he played football for a long time. So he just graduated high school, and he's going to, like, community college. He's really not sure yet, but like everybody else, you know what I'm saying? What'd you say, JUCO?
JUCO. Oh, he's trying to play football in college, too?
Nah. He was, like, second string. No, I'm joking. He was good. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. No, he was awesome. Oh, no, I'm tripping. He raps.
Oh, that's no.
Yeah, he's a rap. So he had a song on SoundCloud that actually, like, popped off, like, really well. It got, like, 45,000, like, listens and stuff like that. It was dope.
Do you feel the urge to move out?
Oh, yeah, man. So I have a plan.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? But I'm also like, because I'm such a spiritual person, I'm not concerned in a way. You know what I'm saying? So like it could very much change. Um, but right now I want to move to. I still live in my hometown, right? I want to move to like the bigger Raleigh, which is closer to the comedy club, and then focus on more stand up, and then in a couple of years move to either New York or L.A.
Okay.
And I'm still really torn on which one, because I hate both, honestly. And it's not that they're bad. It's just I love the South. And I
Right.
love my hometown. I love the open air. I love trees. You know what I'm saying? I love the pace and all this stuff.
Well,
And
this is
so,
what I tell comics. Like,
yeah.
so when I moved up here and everyone else moved everywhere, I would go everywhere. You know, Grant. So I remember
Yeah.
Grant, big brown eyes. We're at the Oak City Festival, and he's like, he had that same look in his eyes. Asked me about moving. I was like, what are you waiting for, man?
Yeah, man.
You can wait here to be the man, or you can go out and start your own path, man. I said,
Yeah.
you can only get here and get better. And I think when I talk to this comic, he's from like Chicago. He's like, should I book this comic? I was like, any comic from the South that moved up here is serious.
That's facts, man.
We left houses, comfortability,
Yeah.
land, everything else to come up here. I was like, we're not out here just
Yeah.
to shuck and jive like the old people.
Exactly.
I was like, yeah, we can hang out. Yeah, cool. But at the same time, I was like, any comic, especially from the South, the Southerners that haven't quit yet when they come up here, because the first year, they're all going to go through it. They all go through like
Yeah.
the sadness of everything else. And I remember when me and Shotty, man, I was like, leave now. He goes, what?
Yeah.
I was like, nothing's stopping you.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Leave. I was like, that whole thing when it tugged on your heart. Like I remember, I said to myself 3 years. I was like, when I get in Florida, I move to Tampa. I was like, in 3 years, I'm gonna leave. So then when it happened, I said, God, I want you to leave me like a baby. I want it clear. I want the signs open to be all like, as soon as I leave, I can go, and everything's gonna fall into place. So my boys live in L.A. Some of my guys went to L.A. I think the only difference in New York is, like in the South, we have we throw a lot of haymakers.
Yeah, which
Like when we take our time to build up stories and stuff like that, because
Yeah.
we have nothing but time. And then when you come to New York, it's like all right, you got 2.5 minutes. I said for just the open mic, I said I just finished a bit, and then you start learning and training yourself to be like that, because y'all know the New
Yeah.
York comics are always like they have that
Yeah.
little pace. So it's good for Southern comics to have that first gear, that second gear, that shift.
Yeah.
Because when
That's
you go
awesome.
back home, they're like, man, why are you talking so fast? I was like, I got 40 minutes tonight? Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I can slow down. Yeah, I can slow down a little bit.
Exactly.
But whatever you choose, it's gonna everything. God's already prepared your path. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
man.
He said, but the table's already set. You
That's
know what I mean?
right,
So you just
man.
gotta sit there and see what you want.
Yeah. And I had a friend tell me that like New York kind of sets up what you do in LA. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? But it's just like I don't know. I'm just trying to be intentional. I'm open to everything, and yeah. The only disadvantage I think is like New York is 8 hours versus LA, which is
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying.
And you'll get better faster. You have more
Yeah,
chances
no,
to get
for
on
sure,
stage. You can get
for
like
sure.
7 sets a night and everything
Exactly.
else.
Yeah. See.
Well, they say that until you get out here and to realize like, oh, you got to be somebody to get 7 sets a night.
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
like,
yeah,
oh
yeah.
you ain't doing no 12 mics a night. No,
Exactly. Yeah.
put you in the back of the list. It's like I only got up 3 times. When did you get there? 10. Yeah, they say that.
Exactly.
But you eventually you'll find a place and you'll find everything else. Let's go back to when you started stand up, when you were working with these comics. Which comic before Sinbad was the one that like mentored you? Like what comic like in the scene do you remember was the guy that was? Because everyone probably has a thing like, oh, look at this young kid.
Yeah, man.
You know, my friend Cam, when I told you about when he first started, he couldn't even get. I remember when he couldn't get into the comedy clubs. He was too young.
Dang, for real?
Yeah, he was started. I think he was 19. I forgot how young he
And
was.
he was trying to do stand up?
When I came back from college, I worked at Disney World.
Yeah.
So like I did college and I did stand up in college, but it's it's not really like knowing what the grind is now. I was like, yeah, we're just playing around in college.
Yeah.
But when I moved to Orlando and moved to Tampa, I came back and I met this young, skinny, white kid.
Mm-hmm.
What's up, man? What's going
Yeah.
on? Everything else. And I was like, well, let's keep going on. We all would just hang out. He was a part of our class. And I remember we would go to the Tampa Improv and he couldn't get in because he wasn't 21.
Dang,
I was like, just
man.
go in.
Mm-hmm.
He goes, everybody like, nope. They would look at his ID. So we would sign him up and he would come in and do a spot and then go walk right back outside.
Yeah.
So he was mad young, couldn't drink. And I was like, good. He was fine because
Yeah.
I didn't drink either. So he'd be hanging with me. I was like, I don't
Yeah,
drink,
that's
so
what's
we're
up.
fine.
Yeah.
So I remember it was like when being a young comic. And I remember being young, sitting in like, I met these old comics that would just beat the road up. And I'd be asking all these questions. And they were like, yo, would you stop asking me all these questions?
Yeah.
So who was that dude like when you were in North Carolina, like took the time out, like in Raleigh, to be like, yo, let me at an open
Yeah.
mic to be like, what's up, man? How?
It was definitely the manager of the club. His name was John Kirby. He was and he moved back to Ohio when the club switched owners. But that was the dude that like he was intentional about teaching me things every week. You know what I'm saying? He was intentional about like you don't wear shorts on stage. You got to move the mic stand out the way. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of headliners that I got to meet, like touring people, gave me such good advice, you know what I'm saying? And then blew hot air. And that's just the game, you know what I'm saying? So it'd be like, man, well, you know, next time I'm in town, man, you know, we're going to get together. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna take you on the road with me, man. And that's just how it was. And the only person that really didn't do that was Sinbad.
How old were you when you met Sinbad?
I was 15, I think, 14 to 15.
So walk me through when you, so was he headlining at Good Nights and someone said like, Caleb, we got your guest spot, or what happened?
Yeah, so the owner was Brad Reeder. God rest his soul. No, I'm joking, he was alive. And he was just,
that siren was him.
Yeah. No, but and he was like, hey man, we got Bad in the house. Super Sinbad's mad cool. He's good people. Do you want to maybe try to get a guest spot? And I was like, yeah. You know what I'm saying? I didn't know who that was. But I was like, yeah, I get a guest spot. Because I didn't really know anybody that wasn't like Def Jam. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I only knew like the Def Jam people because that's what I was watching. And so I was like, yeah, man, I watched Sinbad. So I went to the show, man. And what's super cool about it, and we just talked about this weekend, he has another feature named Chase Anthony out of L.A., right? Okay. And so Chase has been on the road with him probably about 8 years. And so we kind of switch off, like what weekends I'm not on, he's on. Mm-hmm. And so he's doing like the rest of January, I'm on February. And that weekend was his first time being on the road with Sinbad.
Wow.
So I got pictures, and Chase didn't know how to dress in front of like Sinbad's crowd, so he got on a vest and he got on like glasses and stuff like that, which is mad funny. But it's just full circle. So that weekend Sinbad really like showed out. So he brought the band with him, right? And they was on stage and they was dancing and singing all this stuff. And then after that he took the whole club out. So all the wait staff, right? Everybody, we go to the club. And so I'm 15 years old, third floor of this club in VIP. And me and my dad, because my dad don't drink, was just sitting there on the couch. You know what I'm saying? Everybody getting drunk, man, drunk out of their mind. Me and my dad just sitting there chilling. And it was cool, man. It was a major experience. So since then, like, me and Bad was always, like, cool when he came into town.
How much time did you do when you were doing the guest spot for him?
I think I did 8 minutes.
He saw it? Did he see it?
Yep, he sat there and saw it and watched it, too. I remember seeing him. And there's this little chair, like, you can sit in that's right outside the green room. I remember seeing him in that chair, like, oh, shoot, man, he really watching. But, yeah, and he's talking to me after, man, you got to talk more about this, man, talk more about all this stuff. And I was like, okay, word. And just stayed cool, man. Just stayed, in connection. And he was one of those people. This is how I knew he was really serious, because he didn't blow any hot air. Mm-hmm. So he was like, he never said, like, man, I'm going to take you on the road. Like, me and my dad had a conversation. Him and my dad had a conversation, and I never knew about it until I think a year ago. But my dad was like, hey, man, you think you could take him on the road? Like, he's trying to be my manager, You think, well, give him, some opportunities, man. And somebody was like, nah, he just not ready. He too young. Mm-hmm. The road really changes you. Like, you got to figure out what person you are before you, go on the road and stuff. And that's how I knew Sinbad was real, because he never was like, he never said anything that he wasn't going to do. And when he says something, he does it. You know what I'm saying? When he says, man, I'm gonna hook you up with this. He always does it. And he's one of those people who's just truly genuine and kind and compassionate, and not even like I'm faking it, but that's really how he is. You know what I'm saying?
What age were you when he started taking you on the road?
Yeah, man. So I got picked up last year, December about.
So you're like 9 years into comedy. So he's watched you've grown.
Yeah. So like what happened was Chase ended up having a gig in New York, right? Uh-huh. This is the weekend that he's going to be in Charlotte, North Carolina. And so he goes, man, what's that comic's name? Oh, Caleb. So he texted me, right? Because I ain't seen him since I was like 3 years before that. He texted me. He was like, okay, Caleb. So he hit me up.
It's all good. Go ahead.
Oh.
It's all good, folks. Housekeeping.
Yeah, my fault.
We out here in the Times Hotel. You know what I mean? It's a mobile podcast. We everywhere. They're like, was that a groupie? I was like, I don't know. I can't speak on his life. I was on the road.
Exactly. I'm joking. No, but what you asked me, I forgot.
All right, so like you were walking us through. So Caleb couldn't make the show because Caleb had not Caleb. You're Caleb. What's the boy's
Yes,
name?
Chase couldn't
Chase
make the
couldn't
show.
make it because he was in
Right, he was in New York.
He was in New York, so you get Charlotte's
Yeah.
Comedy Zone, right?
Yep. So Sinbad was at the Comedy Zone. He called me up. He said, "Hey man, do you want to come out and do the Friday?" And I was like, "Yeah." Walked up, did the show. It was awesome. Then Chase came down. We were on stage together, which is all good. So I came out hosted. Chase came out featured, and then he keeps us both on stage, and so that was just like a great time, man. It was so much fun. So then after that, he sent me some luggage for Christmas. Cause Sinbad mad cool, and it was this big Toomey bag. Bag was like $700, and he wrote on it, "Get ready to travel," kind of thing. So I was like, "Oh, where are you gonna take me?" Like he said to me, but I was like, "Man, we gonna go some places." And so then in March, we came back to Raleigh, Greensboro. We did some theaters, which was super cool. And I'm glad we did that like first, cause it got like that fear out the way kind of thing, and learning how to do that. And then first stop was Alabama. So March technically was like my first time actually traveling out of state and doing some stand up out of state, and it was super cool. So since then, I was like, in March, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna actually do this, cause I was doing stand up, but I don't think I decided I wanted to be a stand up yet.
Right.
And I think March was the first time where I was like, yeah, I think it's time to bring the heat. You know what I'm saying? Get
This
serious.
is your
about
first
it.
year on the road, pretty much.
Yeah, man.
Your first year on the road.
Yeah.
Favorite cities anytime that's far? Any favorite
Bro,
cities?
St. Louis was so cool, man. St. Louis was crazy. Yeah, cause the club was crazy, man. The people at it was Helium Comedy Club we played at, and they was just the wait staff was so cool, and we all hung out afterwards. And I love the city. It got like small town vibes, but it's big town, and it's still black, but it's it was mad cool, man. So that's probably one of my favorite places. The shows was awesome. Like, crowd was great. All that fun stuff. I hate Milwaukee. That's my least favorite.
Milwaukee. I think people in Milwaukee don't like being in Milwaukee.
Exactly.
We've been trying to go.
Yeah. But that's probably my least favorite. Because I think I bombed 7 times in a row. I think these people looked at me for.
Is that when you went on that challenge? Like, we're only gonna do brand new jokes.
Yeah.
I was like, this guy's crazy. He's tripping, man. He don't. I said, he don't.
I was trying to.
He don't care about anything.
Yeah.
Kamikaze. He trying to kill himself and the people in the crowd.
I try to set extremes for myself because I feel like if I set goals that I think I can reach, I end up not trying. So I gotta set stuff that's like ridiculous. So like 1 month I was like, man, I'm gonna not do anything old. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna see if I can just do.
And I was like, yeah, Caleb is
a new 15, and I added people on Instagram. I was like Jared and Shotty and Grant, and all 3. I was like, bro, you crazy, man. We ain't
like, I'm trying to make it in this city.
And man, I know that's right. And man, I ate it 7 times. I think we did 7 shows. And I think every time they was like, "Where's Sinbad?" No, I'm joking. It wasn't that bad, but
his son, really. I see what he's doing with bringing his son on the road. I get it. Nepotism. I get it.
Exactly. But yeah, man, I just didn't like it at all. Still, it was still cool. People was cool, but we was in a casino too, and all that sin. I just couldn't.
Sodom and Gomorrah.
Yeah, I was like, man, y'all. I seen a dude in there with an oxygen tank trying to gamble. It was man.
He took it off after you bombed.
I
say word living. He took off his oxygen tank. I need to feel all this.
Yeah, I definitely had some bombs on the road that was like.
How much time are you doing tonight?
So I do 15 before.
Oh, that's good.
Right, and then but what was interesting about Sinbad, how he does his set, is he'll play off what I say and what the crowd says. So he keeps me on stage for the duration of a set. So I'll do 15, but then we do an hour or whatever and stuff together. And so my job is like the setup man. I'm better at it now, but I have a feel for like what jokes he has, like what bits I know he can go into. So I ask him questions, like kind of directing him to like get to a certain place, which is it's so much fun, man.
Volleyball, he's setting up the alley oops.
Yeah, and the fun is like I never know what's gonna happen. Because he can make a joke about anything. Like last night, he was talking about something that happened in the news in New York where that dude like took another girl off the train.
Oh, that big.
You hear about it? Man, he talking about that.
Yeah.
It's just fun. Like you just never know, what's gonna happen. The sucky part about it is sometimes he'll have a dope bit and he'll forget it. I'll be like, man, like he done forgot more bits than I've thought to write. You know what I'm saying? And so I'll try to bring him back to it, but I know he don't remember it. You know what I'm saying? Like ones that I like, when I was like, man, this was funny that you said. He'd be like, man, I don't remember saying that.
Put this voice app up here.
Exactly, man.
Listen to it. Listen to what you said. Go back to 47 minutes and 22 seconds.
Exactly. But man, it's just been such a cool experience, man. So
I noticed when we were talking this weekend,
mm-hmm.
and I was curious. I was talking to Shadi about this, about you asking about the comics.
Yeah.
Why is it in your head about comics watching you?
Oh man, nobody likes that because they always see things that one if you're a comic, stand up's hard to watch, period. Right?
Correct.
If you a comic, not many comics watching hour specials. You know what I'm saying? Or watching other people do stand up. That's like the worst part about stand up. You gotta sit there and watch everybody else sit. So I know that they're seeing things or they're thinking things that are way harsher than what the audience is thinking. So they'll think like, oh man, this bit hack. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh man, I heard 8 people do this big. Oh man, that joke, I know they see when a joke doesn't go over. I know they see. So it's good because it challenges you, but at the same time, it's like, I just hate that they're there. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't like, I write for me and I write for it to be funny.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to avoid like I don't want to be competitive in the art of it. You know what I'm saying? I got to write from my perspective and stuff like that. So
have you heard of this phrase, some people get lost playing to the back of the room?
Nah, I ain't heard that. What's that?
Meaning that's where the comics stand, in the back of the room. So sometimes comedians are always trying to get the back of the room to laugh, and sometimes they alienate the people because comics don't pay for comedy tickets.
Yeah, exactly. See,
so it don't really matter.
Yeah.
And I was saying like this. I think we were talking last night, and I was thinking about that scripture. I was like, many are called, but few are chosen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like when I go to a show, usually I come at the end, but when I come to the show, I was like, I'm not thinking about anything. I'm happy that my boy's opening for Sinbad, and that's dope.
Yeah.
We're all just happy. I was like, I was like, y'all know good and well, y'all don't remember none of his bits. Y'all just in the moment, excited.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
There's a reason why he brought you out here.
Mm-hmm.
And I think sometimes, and then they were talking about like when Eddie brought Chris out.
Yeah.
They said like Chris was like mad young, and comics were like just like, why the freak did he bring Chris? And it's like that, and it's like, he's enjoying the moment. Now Chris Rock has stories that he can tell to his peers in his class.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm pretty sure Sinbad has dropped so many gems on you and so many stories like that. And I was like, it's kind of dope because he's like, hey, come to the grill. I was like, nah, let him have his moment. Nah, man, I'm not. Sometimes it's like that, you know. He's like, yeah, he's mad cool. I was like, no, let him have his moment. This is his moment right now. This is Caroline. This is a big deal right now.
Yeah, man.
So it's but it was dope knowing someone doing something like that.
Word, man.
Because my mother, she was like, I mean, you saw my aunt. You saw my aunt. That's my mother's sister.
Yeah.
Come here, baby. Come here.
Yeah.
Come take a picture of Sinbad. No, stop. I don't want to meet him this way. No, you know his friend.
Exactly.
They all friends. Yeah, they play together. I said, Mom,
Sinbad was yelling at me from the back of the room. You know who this is? I was like, yes, it's Jared.
When I walked in, I was like, oh yeah, hey, what's up? Hey. I was like, oh yeah, we met. Yeah.
Yeah. That
like,
was funny, man.
He was dropping gems last night about like that. Cause I was like, about Red Fox, and like I'm just like a nerd of comedy. I was like, you've seen it all, man.
Yeah,
that's
crazy.
Still living.
Yeah, man.
That's still living.
He might be the. I'm trying to think.
He's the only one in that class that's still, Eddie.
He might be the oldest like legend out there. He's 63 right now. I mean, the only person I can think of is Paul Mooney.
Paul, he's senile.
I know, and it's terrible.
He's senile.
It's terrible.
There are so many. That's why I love when people get Sinbad on the podcast and start asking them like comedy questions.
Yeah, man.
And they keep him on that path to be all like.
Yeah.
I was like, no, ask him about Red Fox, man. Ask him about what was Red like. Because he said, what did he say? All of his peers are the ones you see now. I was like, golly.
Mm-hmm.
Because Robin Williams, everything else. I was like, wow. So I was like, I think me and Shawty, we talk all the time. I was like, that's dope that he's in this position. That's dope. There's like, yeah. I was like, freaky. I was like, who cares about comics that come to the show?
Yeah.
They should be happy that there's someone that up there.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially a Southern comic. We always cheer for the South here.
You got
so
to,
every time
man.
somebody, I was oh, freak, he from the South. Hey, them boys from the South. Yeah.
Got to, man.
But yeah, I think that scripture, I was like, many are called, a few are chosen.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, do you write your goals out? Do you write your goals and put them up everywhere?
I don't like I should. I used to be more intentional about journaling, and I wanted to bring it back 2020. But I know what they are, like because I have to keep it in mind to do what I do. I can't. I realize that, and this is good advice for comics. It's like you don't really have time to like be playing. You know what I'm saying? Like when you make up your mind, like I want to be a headliner. You know what I'm saying? That's the end goal. Period. You know what I'm saying? So we get a lot of all these opportunities, but something Chase taught me when my first day when we was in Charlotte, he was like, you have to remember you're not Sinbad. So this is a great opportunity. You're going to learn a lot, and you're going to see a lot of different crowds, and they're going to cater to you. You're going to see a lot of places, meet a lot of people. But at the end of the day, his name is still on the thing. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So you got to get a place where your name is on the ticket. You know what I'm saying? And since then, that's been my goal is, like, how can I be that headliner? How can my material be tight enough? How can I build hours? You know what I'm saying? How can I find credits, make those connections, get more exposure? So that way I keep that end goal in mind. So, like, advice is, like, you don't have time to be playing Fiddle Faddling on stage. Chanel Ali, which is a comic I know you know. But she's somebody I really look up to, too.
Okay.
Yeah. But I actually ask her a lot of stuff because she's not on Sinbad level in the sense of, like, Sinbad give me, like, legend advice that I'm like, I can't use that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, you I'm like, oh, man, what do you do about this situation? Oh, man, just get your lawyer to, you know what I'm saying? Like, stuff like that. I'm like, I got no lawyer. So Chanel's more like, she's really doing and killing in the industry. But I know she's, more of a goal that I feel like I can reach. You know what I'm saying? So I asked her different stuff, and she gave me advice that was like, all you get is minutes. You know what I'm saying? So you have to be working with those minutes. You can't just go on stage and, like, for me, there's almost a difference in working on material and having fun. Because I can fiddle faddle like a set and, do crowd work and, you know what I'm saying, have a good time, just be kind of flowy. Or I can work on this material.
Right.
And that's a lot harder than, than just having a good time on stage. And so that was my new goal of, like, I have to be intentional every set, every, 4 minutes, 3 minutes, like, getting my material better, you know what I'm saying, to get that, to make a crowd laugh, you know what I'm saying?
One of the nicest people I've ever met in New York.
Honestly.
I remember one time where I was, like, kind of frustrated because you go to these open mics and you don't know anybody and you're wondering, like, is my material funny or do these all guys know each other? And Chanel goes, she meets me and my friend Paul. We're both from Florida. And she goes, are you guys comedy best friends? I was like, yeah, we just met here. Uh-oh, you guys are friends now.
Yeah.
And we're just laughing. And she did the most. I remember the most sweetest thing, and I try not to bring it up to her. We did this show called Smoke Break, and it's like a weed show, and Chanel does well. But I always go to shows where I see a lot of black comics because I know they're going to be late, so I can steal a guest spot there. So if it's like comics, I know them for a whole bunch of credits, like Derek Gaines on everything else. I was like, oh, I know some of these dudes are going to be late. They got like 3 different spots. So I go there, Courtney Rails run the show, and next you know it, they're looking around. I was like, oh, yeah, nobody showed up. And Chanel goes, you should throw Jared up. And I did he goes, go till I tell you to stop. I said, ain't nothing to me, baby. At that time.
Okay.
So I did like 17 minutes, and it's going well. And then we're all in the green room, and they're all, passing the devil's lettuce around. And Chanel stops and goes, I really enjoyed your set, Jared. Yeah, one of the best sets of the night.
That's what's
in
up.
front of like people I respect, and I was like, girl, you crazy? Get up out of here, girl. You ain't in work at Piggly Wiggly. You don't know about Win Dixie, girl. But it's like she does those dope things where she acknowledges and stuff like that. And I look at her as my peer, you know what I mean? Yeah. I look at her as like, yo, I'm her album recording. I was there. I was like, I just support, especially a black woman doing her thing.
Absolutely.
I was like, freak, man.
Yeah, man.
And especially in this, you'll meet so many cool comics that are just like really genuinely want you to win. Yeah. And sometimes you might be kind of drawn off. Which that's what some girl told me. Her name is Christina Galson. She was like, you just mad supportive, which is weird. And I was like, look, man, when you come out the South, we just happy. We happy to be in the dance, man.
Exactly.
We happy because I know when them pads come on, I was like, oh, is it my turn to go? What? You said 32 sweep?
Yeah. You know it was cool, though? 32 sweep. As I was hitting her up because I was in New York, and she was like, yeah, you got to get with Jared. Everybody been like that. I told Shar, she was like, yeah, Jared to take you around. They was all like, you running the scene, man. They was all
I said, what? We out here? Come on, let's
go.
I said, come on, you ready? We're going to Brooklyn. We're going to Brooklyn.
Yeah, man. So
and all you met my boy Jamar Neighbors, man.
Yeah, man.
Wow.
Hilarious, man. Hilarious, man. So it's been cool, man.
And it's just room for everyone. I think sometimes we don't understand there's food for everybody.
Yeah.
There's food for everybody. And I say, like, once you stay, like, prayed up, that's most of all the things. Course. Staying, like, prayed up and not getting distracted and lost in the sauce, man.
Yeah, man.
It's easy to get lost in the sauce, especially in New York, man, because you literally see the levels in front of you.
Mm-hmm.
You could literally see someone above you. You see someone behind you. You literally could see Chris Rock one day and be like, what am I doing with, Look at you at the cellar. You were.
Yeah, I know that's
Oh,
right.
that's it. Oh, you call
Man, let me
Wilson
tell
Vince Tony Woods. That's Tony Woods.
Gotta
Oh,
tell
let
the
me see who. Yeah, tell the story. Tell the story. Tell the story. When we were hanging out, tell that story.
Man, so we went to the Comedy Cellar, right? You know, legendary club. You know what I'm saying? Everybody in the South knows it. And we walk in. I'm with Jared and Shotty, and we walk in, and Godfrey was sitting there at a table. And I'm walking. I'm like, oh shoot, this guy! Like I'm all loud. And Shotty turned around. She go, chill out. You hot. And I'm sitting here like googly eyed. Like I'm like, Godfrey is literally right over there, and y'all acting normal. And then David Tell walk in. I'm like, shut up. Like I'm yelling. And Ian Edwards was sitting at a table, and all these legends just chilling, right, in the comedy cellar. And y'all just like, yeah, we see them. You know, you just gotta be cool. You know what I'm saying? They just be around. And I'm like, man, I would be here every day, man. Just trying to
She's
learn.
like, we're gonna get some pizza. I was like, nah, let them see the lights, man.
Exactly.
I said, nah, let them see those lights. Let them see those lights real fast.
Exactly. So man, it was a cool experience, man. But that's one of the things about you have to do stand up because you love it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Because it is hard. It's a hard game, you know. But Ralphie May, he was like, as long as you don't quit, you'll make it. You know what I'm saying? It's really the long game. You know what I'm saying? Paul said it like this. He said, it's a marathon. I thought I remembered the scripture, but I didn't when I said that. He said, but it really is. And the stand-up's one of those games where everybody has their season. You know what I'm saying? Everybody has that time where they get that opportunity. And as long as you just stay in it, as long as you decide that this is what you want to do, I promise you'll get there.
And take the blessings too, man. It's favor. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
That's what I was telling the boys that with me. I was like, it's dope that he's there, man. That's dope. I said, because when your moment happens, you don't want it, because sometimes it's like, you don't want to bring everybody. I was like, yeah, just go. I was like, I'm going to go. So you can't be bringing no 15 people. I was like, this is his moment.
Exactly, yeah.
Enjoy the moment.
Yeah,
take the time and realize, like, dang, I did this. And the one thing I like about you when we were talking on the train, he's like, I just don't want to be Sinbad's opener.
Exactly, man.
And then when you told me about Dry Bar, I was like, what? You did Dry Bar?
Yeah.
I was like, snap.
Yeah, man.
Because when I found out your age, I was like, oh, my boy's going to, he's just telling me I'm the youngest to ever. And he was just like, yeah, man. I was like, yeah, freaking Cam, we're so proud of you, man.
Yeah.
Then I texted him, I was like, I found the youngest. What? How old is I was like, can I give him your number? He goes, yeah.
Still got to air. It's supposed to come out in March. If it don't come out, Cam winning. You know what I'm saying? I ain't mad at him.
He's definitely just he's working on his faith, man. He be sometimes you be talking God stuff. Yeah, that too.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah.
If I was to get real deep for a second, like, my faith is definitely the most important thing to me. At the end of the day, like, comedy and my passion for it, and, you know, these checks, thank you, Lord. And
you better tithe.
Okay, that 10%. It's really, I'm realizing more and more as I'm getting older, it's like Jesus really is the most important thing. You know what I'm saying? It really gives you that peace in your mindset and your way of thinking, and everything else is great. But it at the end of the day, like, and my father used to say this, it's all gonna burn.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, at the end of the day, we all going in the ground. You know, and I really feel like old heads used to say this all the time when you come up in the South. But you know, we in our last days. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? But I'm looking at the world, and like, the Bible says, you know, in the end, like, you won't be able to tell the seasons apart. And, you know, it's 50 degrees right now in New York City. And, you know, politics is going crazy. Like, our political system in U.S., if people really think about it, is failing us. Mm-hmm. We have two candidates. We have no candidates that a lot of American people are like, yo, what's going on? You know what I'm saying? And I really feel like, you know, coming towards the end, like, you really got to, you know, get right. Just get right with Jesus. Like, that's the most important thing before this stand-up stuff. Because, like, you know, at the end of the day, it's really, for me and my faith, it's only going to matter, like, what you did for God. You know what I'm saying? So I try to keep that the main thing before anything else.
Having a firm foundation, having a solid foundation.
Man.
I think the scripture, I think of you, I say the scripture lies in Revelations when God says, I'll open a door that no man can close.
That's right.
So it's just like, it don't matter. Whatever you get on the road, whoever comics you see and whatever, this door that's open for you, ain't nobody can close it.
Exactly. Man.
Nobody's going to close what
they
God can do
for you. They used to say in the
old
church, they used to say, what God has for me
is for me.
Come
now
on,
we're going to ask three people. Three people, if you could just take off and run
that's
real
right.
fast. Say, Pastor, you know my wife, she tore her ACL. She can't run no more. Well, we going to run. So I need three people to run for her. Who can run for her?
and tell them what God has for me. That's funny, man.
We're gonna do these last things. It's a game, right? It's called Who Are You, right?
Oh, Lord
And
have
who
mercy.
are you, right? The whole point of the game is to break open yourself.
Mhm.
Like, you can ask me, who are you? And you're just going to keep asking that question until I stop. So it goes.
Who are you?
Jared Waters,
Who are you?
two-time stand-up comic.
Who are you?
Like that.
Okay, word.
I'm going to keep going until you just stop. So I can go for like 10 minutes. We do this all the time.
That's pressure. All right.
So just take your time and think about it like that.
Dang,
This is
I'm about to say
standard.
I'm about to get too churchy and I hate it.
Don't know. It's going to keep going until you stop.
Okay.
Ready? Who are you?
Caleb Elliott.
Who are you?
Comic.
Who are you?
Son of the living God.
Who are you?
Son of Steve Elliott.
Who are you?
A lover, not a fighter.
Who are you?
Dang, I can't think of anything else.
We're going to come back to this when we do this podcast again. No, because it's supposed to change. It's supposed to change. It's supposed to be all like the first time is going to be like the hardest time, and then you start thinking about everything else.
I love that, man. That's dope, man.
So these are the last 5 questions, and we're going to get out of here. When's the last nightmare you had?
I cannot remember. I remember a specific one, though, that was big for me.
Mm-hmm.
Could that be an answer?
No, yeah, that can be an answer.
When I used to be afraid of Beauty and the Beast. I promise you. Terrified. And I remember this one dream I had. I was in the bathroom, and the Beast came around the corner, right? And he was, like, huge, and I was, like, terrified. But in the dream, I got bigger than him. Like, I started to grow, and I grew bigger than the Beast. And after that, I wasn't scared no more. And that was the last time I was scared.
Beast.
So that's the last, like, nightmare I can remember.
So you don't got Disney Plus then?
I don't watch nothing. The first part used to scare me where the hands would come out and they would change. Man, I was like, that dude
Tales
is
as old as time. Turn
scared.
it off. Turn it off. Y'all know Dad don't like this. You know your dad don't like this movie.
That's right.
Second question, what's your biggest fear?
I think, what popped in my head was being alone. I don't know if that's true, but that's what came in my head first.
That's real.
Yeah.
They said that a lot of people don't like being alone. Why don't you like being alone?
Alone
as in like by yourself alone? Like you're alone right now. Like
no, I think that's my really. I'm gonna say my testimony. I hate churchy words, man. I promise you, I hate it.
No, it's all good, man. It's fan basis to everybody.
When I became, the biggest thing that I was missing when I became a Christian was that feeling of emptiness, right? And I had a lot of friends, man. I could talk to anybody. I had a great family. My parents were together. You know, we was doing well for ourselves. I had a lot of siblings. You know, I was doing right. Like, I wasn't partying, nothing like that. But there was just this feeling of, like, there's something in my soul that was like, there's more. You know what I'm saying? There's an emptiness that couldn't be. And I just can't explain it besides, like, I was lonely. You know what I'm saying? I was never suicidal, but some days I just didn't want to do. I was like, man, what's the point? What's the point of all this? And so when I got right with Jesus, that's what he quenched was you'll never be alone again. You know what I'm saying? You'll always have that love and that satisfaction and that purpose. And I never want to, and I haven't lost it since, but I never want to lose that. And so that's probably my biggest fear is going back to that place. You know what I'm saying?
Have you ever had a panic attack or your last panic attack?
I have one time though.
Well, when was it?
It was, we did, so Obama's inauguration, 2008. I went.
You went to D.C.?
Went to D.C. We was on Pennsylvania Avenue. So we was nowhere near the inauguration. There was millions of people out there. But I was there. You know what I'm saying? And it was my first time in a big city, and there was a lot of people around me. You know what I'm saying? So I was mad claustrophobic. And I was like, I can't breathe. You know, we black, so Mom was like, stop, get it together. And I was like, Mom, I can't breathe. And it was like, boy, if you don't stop right now. And I just stopped. I just got it together. But that was the only, like, panic attack I had. I'm really, like, I'm not one to be anxious or, like, you know, get in my head too much. Yeah.
Do you believe in soulmates?
Yes and no. I believe that God will never let you miss the right person for you.
Are you actively dating?
I am. How do I say this?
Let's go to another topic.
I am actively dating, and I'm not in a relationship, but it all just depends on what city I'm in. You feel me play it?
Hey, I don't feel
You
you.
better,
I'm
you
about to
better
get
not.
married,
You
but
better not feel me.
I felt you before.
You better not. No, I'm being very facetious. I'm very much a gentleman, and I just haven't, met the right lady yet. You know what I'm saying? But
You
it's
got
not that
time,
I'm
man.
not looking. Yeah, it's not.
He's
that I'm not
22.
looking. Yeah.
He's 22. Nothing but time.
Yeah. So if anybody wants to slide my DMs, you know what I'm saying? Just
We're gonna put his Instagram
me
link,
up.
so make sure you slide in his DM ferociously.
Quickly.
And when you slide in, put a picture of Beast from Beauty and the Beast. if you wanna
That's how I
scare
know
him.
it's real.
This is the last
Yeah.
question. We're gonna get out of here. What do you think happens when we die?
Ah man. Oh man, for the few, we get to experience the presence of Jesus for an eternity, and there's nothing that I'm ready for more than to have that eternal presence.
To hear those words, well done, my good and faithful servant.
Come on, man, and that's the goal, man. That's what it's all about. Everything else, man, it matters, you know what I'm saying? Because
Right.
we're here, but it's not, that's what we want, is to be in his presence. Some people get to. The only few. Jesus said, gate is few. So I'm trying to, just do right by him and make it there. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I believe. So, yeah, man.
Well, this is it. This is One Man, One
Word.
Tree in the Hill. Would you like to tell the people anything before
Nah,
you get out? You
man.
have anything you're looking forward to? You have your own show. You have your own. You drop it
Oh,
on
I do. My
YouTube.
fault.
Yeah,
Yeah.
plug that.
You guys go check out my YouTube channel, Caleb Elliott Comedy. You know what I'm saying? We have some different comics on there. Just do interviews, play games with them and stuff. It's a good thing if you want to get into stand up, because a lot of them give great advice. And so we had Chanel Ali on there. We had Sade Diaz, Vishal Krishnasamy on there, Jake Weddle. A lot of cool people. Yeah, cool people. So yeah, make sure y'all go check that out and subscribe. You can go to our website, CalebElliottComedy.com, and find all the socials on there. And if you want to follow me on Insta, that's going to be @_Caleb Elliott, 2 T's like the G's and Tigger. You feel me?
Yeah.
So check me out. Jared, I so appreciate you, man, having me
Hey,
on.
no problem, man.
That's good
Appreciate
looks,
you.
man.
We'll look back on this 5 years from now, and you'll be like, "Dang, you remember that?" I was like,
Yeah, that's
man.
what's up.
Now my assistant has to plug you in
Yeah.
for the podcast. That's my
what's up,
doorbell
man.
ringing.
Exactly. Exactly.
Well, all right. I appreciate it, my brother. Safe travels back when you go back to North Carolina, when you go
Yeah.
inside the road. Enjoy the moment. Live in the moment. You know what I mean?
Will do.
Document everything. Take
Yeah.
pictures. Do a freaking... I tell people they should record themselves. You should always record yourself, just talking to yourself, and then you could look back on it 3 years from now, like, oh, I was doing this,
Yeah.
doing that. Like, remember MTV Diary? What is that, MTV? You think you know me? You have no idea
Nah, I was
of the
born in
Diary of a
97.
Mad Black... Oh, I was talking cat. But I think MTV had MTV Diaries.
Yeah.
Just YouTube. They used to take, artists, and they would just do, diaries.
Oh, dang, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it'd be like Ja Rule talking. And then there was...
Ja
50
Rule.
Yeah, then, 50 Cent came. That diary was deleted
Yeah.
or something.
Dang,
That
you
whole
was in-
moment of just taking a moment to be like, this is me at 22. Think about that. There's
Yeah.
it's like I'm going to record everything at 22. Or this is my year of 2019.
Yeah.
So everything happens just like, 19. And then you can have your own documentary.
Yeah, I'm going to have to do that, actually.
I don't know how
Yeah,
much
you wanna come
space you got
shoot
on
it?
that phone. So,
Nah, I got, mad space. Oh, dang.
yeah. All right. Well, we're out of here, ladies and gentlemen.
All right, man.
This is One Man, One Tree in the Hill. God bless you if you believe in God. If you don't, Allah bless you if you believe in Allah. And if you're atheist, peace out.